Okay, we're going to start with lesson 5.1, sole proprietorships. This is the business law book. It does look like this here. So just make sure you're in the right textbook and make sure you know that we're starting out with chapter 5. We will come back to chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, but the order we're going into is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason is because the content flows nicely from your other book. So hopefully that's not too confusing, but nonetheless, that's the progression we're going to be taking for this class. The goals are to distinguish the fundamental differences in the basic business forms. And the forms are typically sole proprietorship, partnership, corporations, and well, we're going to get into all that soon and explain why one might choose to become a sole proprietor. So that's the goals of this slideshow, and so let's get started. Basic forms of organization. The three basic forms are sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation. These are listed in order of how low to how ease and cost of entry, as well as the degree of complexity, longevity, intrusiveness of the general regulation, and the ability to attract professional management. So in layman terms, what I want to tell you is there are benefits and there are disadvantages. Now, the benefits for some may be more attractive for different forms and may be least attractive. So you have to make a decision if you're going to be in business, what makes sense for your business, whether to be a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation. So let's get into that. And let's take a look at a sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is defined as a business owned by one person. So basically, if you started a business and you didn't elect to become a corporation or an LLC or something of that nature, you are just one person who owns a business, you are considered a sole proprietorship. It is by far the simplest and most fundamental of all forms of business organizations. A single owner is personally liable for the obligations of the business. Now, some people say that basically is saying you are the business as a sole proprietor because you hold the liability for the business. So you are connected to that business. So if you make a mistake in the business, you are personally liable. Okay. Sole proprietorship basics. With any business, a business license is required. A tax number, an employer identification number. A lot of times in tax forms, they call that the EIN number, employer identification number. There is an online form where you can apply for an EIN number for your business through the government. It's actually a pretty easy process, but it does set you up and makes you as a business. I like to refer to it generally as a social security number for a business. It's not really a social security number, but it works a lot like that. Now, when you talk about business licenses up here, what I will say, what type of license you need depends on what type of business you have. I know construction people, they're required to get a contractor's license. So you have to be familiar with the type of business you're going to be opening, and you have to make sure you acquire the appropriate license. Advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorships are more flexible and responsive to change than other business forms. Simply because the owner is able to move and make decisions. Success or failure depends on interest, desire, finances, and physical health of the owner. If a sole proprietorship fails, its obligations are enforceable not only against the assets of the business, but also possessions of the sole proprietor. So again, your company and you, when it comes to liability, are not separated. So just make sure you know that. That tends to be one of the disadvantages because of that. Because when you open a business, you are risking you and your stuff. Okay, that's the end of the show. We're going to have another presentation shortly, so have a nice day.